You're sitting on the couch with your friends, you're watching your favorite TV show. You look at your clock on your watch and you notice something. Your smile vanishes. The quiz that is pivotal to your grade is due in 3 hours and you're not ready. What you feel there, what you feel that panic going through you as you're thinking about doing this test, that is stress. Stress is relevant to everyone in the world today, especially because of our COVID-19 pandemic. During this pandemic, the amount of stress received is around an all-time high. But I, as a college student, have done extensive research to be able to find out what is stress, what does it do to our bodies, and what's a way that we can combat this while still having fun. That is what's going to be the topic of our speech tonight. And in doing so, we are actually going to be considering 3 main points. These main points are: what is stress and what are its causes? What are endorphins and what is cortisol? And what do these do? And we will also find out how these relate to dance, how they all relate to stress as well. Let's get into our first main point. What is stress? Well, one Medline government article defines stress as this: stress is a feeling of emotional and physical tension. It can come from any event that makes you feel frustrated, angry, or nervous. How often do you feel that way in our world today? Every week? Every month? More often? Everyone experiences stress, and you may think of stress and anxiety being the same thing. You may think, oh, well, she just described anxiety, that's all. No. Anxiety is actually the long-term effects of having long-term stress, even after your stressor is gone. What stress is, though, is your stressor is still ahead of you. You are still making your way to this event that is stressing you out. But what can stress do to your body? It can wreak havoc on your health, giving you things such as obesity. Nobody wants to have that. But now we know what is stress. Now, what are endorphins and cortisol? Those weird words that I brought up in the beginning. What are they and what do they mean? Well, first off, a MIT Press Direct article puts cortisol as this definition. Cortisol is a hormone in the brain that wakes us up. It doesn't sound too bad, does it? If you wake up, that's a good thing. However, another article, a ProQuest article, puts stress to this, or puts cortisol as this. Researchers have primarily observed an increase of cortisol levels in response to a stressor. As these cortisol levels build up in your body, they mess up all of your health, and you completely get thrown off. What is the solution to this? Endorphins. Endorphins are often called the happy hormone. When you have endorphins in your body, they lessen your cortisol levels, and in doing so, you are happier and less stressed. So we know what endorphins are. We know what cortisol is. We know what stress is. How does dance correlate in this? And how does stress correlate with this? Well, one Men's Fitness article talks about running and how when you run, the phenomena of after being done with your run, you feel great. You feel like you can take on the world. It gives this term to this phenomena. It says it is a runner's high. Well, a runner's high, why does that happen? Endorphins. As you exercise, your endorphin levels increase. And as these levels increase, you get happier, you're less stressed, and that's why people often tell you to go take a run when you don't feel well. But does everyone have time for that 30-minute run? That hour run? No. In this world that we live in today, it's so busy. You don't have time to take a run. What can I do instead? Well, I can dance. Endorphins are increased with every type of exercise that is getting your heart pumping, that's getting you moving. And that is always going to reduce your cortisol levels. In fact, one women's research article talks about when women exercise, when anyone exercises, their endorphin levels were skyrocketing. As they were doing this, they were getting happier, and as their exercise was going further, their endorphin levels were sky high. So why not dance as your exercise? Why not use your exercise to have fun? Well, now in conclusion, we know what stress is. We know what endorphins are. We know what cortisol is. We know how these correlate and work for and against our stress, and we know a fun way that we can combat these issues. So, as mentioned at the outset, stress is difficult to deal with, but it's not unmanageable. You can combat your stress. How? We learned that with our 3 main points. Our main point of 1, what is stress and what are its causes? 2, what are endorphins and cortisol and how do they correlate, what do they do? And then how all of these things work together in our stress and how we can combat that via dance. So back to our outset. You have 3 hours for that test, for that final, 50% of your grade. Are you going to go and take that test and fail it because you're so stressed you can't think? Or are you going to take 3 minutes? Are you going to listen to a song? Are you going to dance to it and have fun to increase your endorphin levels?